What'd you say?
Don't worry about it. I'm not going to repeat it.
You said something about beating your meat?
Nope.
You didn't?
Nope.
Okay.
Not painting faces on the new Death Guard because I just don't want to paint some ugly, stinky boys. It's the Vox Cascadia podcast.
Connor's here beating his meat.
Nope.
I don't know. I mean, you were just mentioning something about it, so luckily I was recording before I actually started
Oh,
recording.
actually, no. On this topic, I'm going to send you guys a photo really quick of yesterday. I
Whoa,
was
Of you
whoa,
preparing
being
my
what?
whoa,
lunch.
whoa, whoa,
Don't send us
whoa.
a photo. What are you doing?
Yeah, hold
No,
on.
no. Trust me.
I was gonna make a nice wholesome transition into Chuck not eating meat, and suddenly you're sending. I don't know
See,
if I
I
need.
knew you will understand why. So yesterday I was preparing my lunch, and
Uh-huh.
I try and get some fruit and veggies in my lunch. I discovered, and I kid you not, the most phallic carrot I have ever seen in my life. And I figured, why not derail the conversation because we were talking about it. So look in our Vox Cascadia chat, and you'll see this carrot.
So what? I mean, what?
Wow, that's
Which
impressive.
Right?
Like that is
It's.
that is
is that? Is that a life size representation too, Connor?
I knew you were gonna say some shit like that. No, I kid you not. This is at like 10 or 11 p.m. I bust into the other room to show Sierra, and she thought I was like dying because the shriek of laughter I had at finding this was amazing.
that
Wow, you're like, do you feel seen now?
certified Nurgle symbol.
Certified Nurgle symbol. Also, nice. Are those fake flowers in the background?
The yellow ones on the right, or like the ones by the balloon heart.
All of them.
No, the ones on the right are just very bright yellow ones, and then the ones in the background are Lego flowers from like one of our first dates.
Gotcha. Well, you're gonna have to put this on the at Vox Cascadia
Oh,
on
I'm.
Instagram, so
I
people
guess
can.
I am going to have to now that we've talked about it.
Do you?
Also, can we find someone with real good Photoshop skills to to help apply this to Connor?
No,
I didn't take one of those, but Sierra took one holding it near the crotch area.
All right.
that's the photo I want to see. Like you're holding out on us, man. Like here's the thing: you either show that photo or don't show us any of the photos.
I'll ask Sierra. Odds are she'll be okay
Yeah.
with it.
Okay, let's I want to see it. So welcome to the Vox Cascadia podcast where we talk about Kill Team and carrot shaped dicks. So
Or no, dick-shaped carrots.
Same thing.
that's true actually. I mean,
Which
well, now maybe I'm projecting.
chicken or the egg, really?
Yeah. Um thanks for joining us. Connor has a new love in his life. It's a carrot shaped like a cock. And Tyler, what about you? Anything new in your life?
I mean, like, no, not really. I'm chilling out here in my living room tonight, which is not the usual setup. My partner's out of town for work, so I'm hanging out. That's the
Does
most
she
exciting thing for me.
when she's there, does she like shove you in a closet to make you record this?
I mean, like, I go into my office to record, and she has school right around this time. So, we don't want to interfere with each other.
That's fair. What so leading the bachelor life for a little while. How long you flying solo?
I got what 2 more days, so like I'm living it up. I'm eating pizza for last 3 meals, well 2 meals, and then I had some bean burritos, and washing it down with some beer tonight.
Well, we're going to talk about Nurgle later because it sounds like Tyler's going to be creating his own little Nurgle action with the diet that he's on lately. So
Yeah, just for a couple days. So
yeah, Connor, what have you been up to besides carrot shaped or penis shaped carrots?
Beyond laughing my ass off at that, I've now finished my Angels of Death. No, that's not true. There's going to be like one or two more guys, but I got all the specialists. I've got the sniper, the heavy, and the lieutenant all built. Gonna go prime them after this, and then beyond that, working on some Legions Imperialis.
Well, I've been working on set number 3 of Volcus. I don't have any of my sets actually done, but been trying to get them ready for the event coming up. Tyler, it looks like you got some good progress on your Volcus. Was that the one that you had been working on, or is that the
no, that's
the one that we played on, or is that a new one?
that's the one you gave me what weekend ago at our little tournament. So 2 weekends ago. So um
Actually, I think you tried to give it to me, and I told you to fuck off and take it back
like
because I already had 3.
okay, yeah, I may have tried to do that. Like I really enjoy painting terrain though. Like honestly, one of my favorite things to do. So I really, really, really enjoy it.
I don't know if there's a and Connor will put some pictures up with the carrot penis. Um, I looked at your terrain, and I don't know if it's the theme, but it looks like you could get Nurgle's rot by just like touching that terrain.
I mean, that's kind of always the theme of my terrain, like heavily, heavily worn. They're kind of so I did the two of them kind of in opposites. One of them's like white with teal accents on it, like heavy rust, and then the other one's kind of teal with like some orange and copper and some cream accents on it. So, um,
Now you on that other set you had a little oil malfunction. Did you get that fixed up, or did you just put it to the side for now?
No, I got it fixed up. So, I just applied more oils over the top of it. Once they dry out, they're rock hard. But I got a little too anxious when I started in on it and pulled some of the primer off. Luckily, I always do like my test on like, not sensitive spots like corners on the inside of a Vantage or something like that, where you're not really going to see it. So if that doesn't look great, I'm the only one that's going to know that it's not perfect there.
Yeah, a little too anxious, starting too quick, and then not waiting to be ready and ruining it. It's kind of my mo generally in life. Connor, did you pick up a Hivestorm box?
Remuted myself. Whoops, I'm smart, good with technology. Yes, I have. I actually have two sets of the terrain that I need to do something with.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
build them and get them ready. Are you coming down for the tournament in December?
Yes, I am most likely.
Did you buy your ticket yet?
No, I have not, Chuck. I knew that question was coming next, but I will buy my ticket soon.
Yeah. We need y'all to buy your tickets. Since this is a White Elephant event, early registration is really encouraged. That money goes directly back into the event. It's what we do to provide you with all the cool gifts and stuff that you're going to get at this event. So
Yeah, everybody's going to walk away with a gift. So everybody walks away with a prize. Where most of our events, we give out a lot of prizes. We got first, second, third. We sometimes have a hobby piece. We have the raffle and the bounty system. But this still, there's a lot of people that walk away with just good memories. Well, this one you're going to walk away with good memories and a gift too. So and let's just talk about that tournament a little bit. We'll get into Grandfather Nurgle in a little bit, but so the holiday event is December 7th at Shiv Games in Kaiser, Oregon, and it's the second year in a row, and we're doing the White Elephant gift exchange. So,
hmm yeah. We've dubbed Shiv Games Deathtona for this season for the War Masters Championship Cup Series.
and with how the White Elephant gift is going to work is essentially we everybody who buys a ticket, we are going to have a wrapped present for you, and what we're going to do is we're going to get the BCP pairings going. And table number one is going to come up first. We'll have a whole all the gifts will be out and wrapped and unidentifiable. I mean, you may be able to kind of tell what they are, but table number one is going to come up, and the first two. This is from the first round drawing. The players are going to roll off real quick. Winner gets to pick the first gift. The loser of that roll off gets to pick the second gift, and then we're just going to run through that with all the tables. Now, when you get to your table, you're going to play your opponent, and whoever wins their event gets to, if they want to, they can swap prizes with their opponents. Now, we're not opening any gifts yet. And this is going to continue for 3 rounds, where it's going to be a pretty casual 3-round tournament. And then at the end, after you've played your 3 rounds and gifts been swapped back and forth and stuff, we're going to have everybody unwrap all their gifts at the same time. So nobody will know what they're going to have until the very end. And then whoever is the overall tournament winner can then steal one gift from one person, basically swap it out so they can have the gift of their choice at the end of the tournament.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It like really makes the event about the spirit of giving and about just like playing your opponents and having fun. Last year was an absolute blast. Sorry you missed out on it, Chuck. I think it was one of our most unique events that we've had so far.
Yeah, I had family obligations with the girlfriend's family, which I got to go day drinking in Leavenworth all weekend, which was pretty fun. But I was missing the event. Connor, did you went to the event, right?
I did, and I remember you going to Leavenworth. You picked up Underworld's box for me. I think that was one of our first interactions, Chuck.
I did, yeah. I found, what was it, Krampus's closet, I think it was, little like in the middle of nowhere. I still found a game store, and I think I picked up some minis for me, but then Connor found an Underworld box that he wanted, so I scooped it up from Leavenworth, a short, like, 3.5 hours away from you, and then took it to Vancouver, and months later you picked it up from Jenna. So do you remember the event itself, Connor? Do you remember what you walked away with from the event?
Yes, I was playing Hunter Clay. No surprise. I think I finished like second overall at that one. It was a good time. I had a pretty solid record. I think like 3 wins, 1 tie, or something like that. I think it was a 4 round last year, and I walked away with a novitiates box.
And where is that novitiates box right now?
I can actually look at and almost touch it. It's under my desk, in my little like storage spots of boxes I need to get to or trade away at some point.
Mm. Oh man, speaking of novitiates, real quick, they're looking real spicy at the moment. They're kind of dominating everything. It's looking like.
Yeah, Zach from good old disregarding dice. Me and him kind of had an inverse for third. I was really excited for Hunter Clade, and then turns out the rules aren't too great. And then Zach was the opposite. He was kind of worried about the rules for Novies, thinking they'd be a little too weak or something. And he's like, "Holy shit, these are insane!" I think he's something like a 20 win and like 5 loss record on the games he's played of them so far.
I think that they're like the single most toxic team that has ever existed in the face of the game. Currently, is what a lot of people are saying, and I can see it after looking at them a little bit closer.
Now I mean, I haven't played against them or really looked into them much, but apparently you can't kill them, is what I've heard. Tyler, what do you,
Yeah,
from the rules? What are you seeing about them?
basically that's it. They will always make their saves just like before, only better. But they're gonna heal afterwards. They're gonna heal every time you do something to them, every single time.
Yeah, it's apparently, even though they're what 7 wound models, they're tanky as hell, and they're one of the few teams that can take out elites right now. Is what it sounds like too. Tyler, so your kind of main three teams were Legionaries, Hand of the Archon, and uh, Novitiates,
Yeah.
which we were just talking about.
Mhm.
Um, do you did you know that this was going to be the meta, and how do you feel being a sweaty meta chaser?
Real recognizes real, and that's all I have to say about it.
Have you been tempted? I know you've been running Hand of the Archon. You ran them at our last tournament. Have you run anything else in this?
I have no desire to run anything else currently. Hand of the Archon and I are best friends currently. They're exactly what I wanted them to be from the beginning. They play so good. Their action economy is like really nice. I just enjoy them. They have like a lot of tricks, but they're a little more straightforward than some of the other elves. Corsairs look pretty spicy also, like when you're just looking at the rules and stuff like that, but I don't think they jive as much with who I am, you know?
Now, Connor, you've been talking about Hand of the Archon and jumping on the bandwagon. Have you been working on them? I know you've been talking about your Angels of Death, but since your robots are dead, are any progress on your Hand of the Archon team?
No, not a ton. I've got like 2 little piles of bits on my desk right now of various Skitari stuff that I'm trying to figure out what to turn them into. So nothing at the moment. Like I was kind of telling you earlier, I'm thinking of waiting until the first balanced data slate to really decide what team I want to start and go with next. Because both Hand of the Archon and Herotech, and hell, even kind of Phobos, all look really fun. But I'm gonna wait a little bit and see how those teams are looking if they get touched. And if they all get super nerfed, then maybe I'll go with like Phobos because I doubt they're getting super nerfed. And who knows? Maybe Hunter Clade will get super buffed, and I'll be a happy Cogboy again.
They will not. What are you bringing? What are you bringing December 7th?
Probably Angels of Death. Maybe I'll have Phobos by then, but I'm trying to get this Angels of Death done for tournament I'm going to this weekend, and then after that, I'm probably just gonna work on like I said, the Hive Storm terrain. I've got a bunch of terrain like from Kill Team 18 in boxes and stuff that I've like started to clip out, and I just want to get it as much as I can done and ready. And that way, it's even though it's all built, it's somehow less storage space required.
Well, I've got a full roster of Phobos if you want to play with mine at the tournament.
Ooh, who's your Phobos painted as?
Who do you think?
I don't know. You've got like 3 Marines you've painted.
I got Blood Angels.
Okay. Because I mean, like, you got your Black Templars, and I'm pretty sure I've seen you have like Ultramarines or something.
I don't know fucking Ultramarines. What are you talking about?
I could have sworn you had. Was that Nick?
It wasn't Nick either. Nick had
Yeah,
Space Wolves.
Space Wolves. I don't know. I could have sworn at some point I saw you with Ultramarines. Maybe you were playing someone who had Ultramarines, and I'm just mixing things up.
I don't have any Smurfs. Come on.
I'm sorry. Yeah, all right.
Chuck may be vanilla, but he's not that vanilla. Come on, can't you?
I'm
vampire
pretty close
vanilla.
to that vanilla.
Chuck, have you?
Yeah, I know better than that.
So Chuck, in that case, do you only have Blood Angels and Black Templars painted and no other Marines?
So I've got probably, I don't know, the number gets bigger, 4,000 points of Blood Angels painted up, and then I have essentially just the Intercession. Well, actually, it was I was making Justine and Intercession, and then they became Angels of Death, painted up in Black Templars, and then my Scout squad was going to be Black Templars too. But basically, it's all mostly just Blood Angels, except for a couple kill teams.
Gotcha. Okay. I could have sworn there was a third, but maybe I'm just high.
I have okay, so I do have, are you high? I do have the Reavers from Kill Team 18 painted up as Space Wolves. But I don't know if you've ever even seen those.
I think maybe when I went over your place, I saw them like in the display cabinet. But
Yeah, I painted those up because I don't know, I wanted to, and Nick loves Space Wolves, so I painted a Space Wolf.
and they were the box art at the time.
And they were the box art at the time, so yeah, that's why
I think that like Blood Angels, that's a good pick because you get to paint like a couple colors there. You get to paint black, you get to paint gold, you get to paint red there, like variety as far as chapters go. Dark Angels also a good one, 3 colors there. You got the green, you got the black, you got the cream there. Good color combos. If you got to pick a single Marine chapter to paint so you don't get bored, it's one of those two, really.
Yeah, that is one nice thing about Blood Angels and Dark Angels is, like you said, you don't have to just paint. Like if you're Ultramarines, you're just painting everything blue, basically.
Blue, yeah. I guess like with Space Wolves, they got a little bit of flavor. They got their Gray Hunters, which are a little bit more gray because they don't like fucking clean their armor or something shit.
Yeah, no, that was kind of one of the reasons I was drawn to Blood Angels was, I mean, I got the second edition box, they were on the box, but then also at that time they had Death Company too, and the Death Company was super cool, and they had Dante at the time as well, and so yeah, I think the variety of them was part of the reason that I was so drawn to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Second best, like Angels chapter out there.
Yes, the Dark Angels are the second best Angels chapter out there. I agree.
No, I mean like canonically, like if we look at the lore, Dark Angels are canonically the best chapter. Like, you can't argue with it.
I mean, besides the fact that they have to hide their shame, that's fine. That's okay, right?
I mean, like you can't, take a metaphor for like having to hide your shame of being queer.
Is that what Dark Angel? Is that where the metaphor comes from?
I think so. Well, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I thought it was just because they were dumb and didn't realize like every legion had traitors and loyalists.
No, like the Dark Angels are like incredibly gay coded. They always have been. But supposedly, the Rock is like was a gay nightclub in the area back in the 80s when it was founded. And then the actual name Dark Angels comes from a poet or a poem by that name by what was his name? Maybe
Wasn't it like
it was Lionel Johnson, I want to say.
I actually have like this vaguely rings a bell where I've heard something where like a lot of the Dark Angels names beyond sounding very knightly also share origins with like gay poets of like the Victorian era, I think.
Yeah, I want to say it was, let's say, I'm pulling it up. It was very interesting.
Dead Air
Yeah,
is a really good
absolutely.
podcast stuff.
Great podcast. Edit that out.
Nah, I'm just gonna leave it in.
No,
Yeah.
put in some like Jeopardy music there, Chuck.
Yeah, we don't have the rights to that. So
What
also,
about some?
I'm not that like technically savvy to do anything like that. What I can do though, I can do that.
Oh God, that's right. We
That's
got to
about
get
it.
Jeopardy music soundboard clip.
I gotta get the Connor soundboard. That's the one. That's what I need is the Connor
That's
soundboard.
what we should do for whenever we get a Patreon. It'll get you access to like a link to a Connor soundboard where you can just download stuff to make them your ringtones and whatnot.
Oh, I know, baby got back. Come on. Yeah, and then Connor just telling you, I hate you.
No, that'll be one. There'll be the fumbling bad bitches. There's just so many.
Yeah. So, Tyler, how's that coming?
Yeah, it was Lionel Johnson who wrote the poem "The Dark Angel," and he was closeted gay poet back in the day, and the entire poem is about him hiding that darkness in him. So, yeah, Dark Angel's gay, metaphor for being gay, and that's why they're cool.
All right, well, that is pretty cool. I feel a little bad for just assuming they were lame because they were ashamed of some traders. I was like, everyone had traders, so now the fact there's a metaphor makes it cooler.
All right. Speaking of traders, and I made a prediction last week, which was incorrect. On Tuesday night when we recorded the podcast, I said the Death Guard rules won't be out until the weekend because you won't be able to take them to Worlds. And I woke up the next morning to the new Death Guard rules.
That's always how it
Suck
happened.
it, Chuck.
I think you actually manifested that, but like we also have found out that they drop rules on Wednesday night. So, the week before, we're gonna get them that Wednesday before. From now on, it looks like.
I'm
Now,
not complaining. That's pretty cool.
Just Another Kill Team podcast was pointing out how Games Workshop missed the boat when they dropped them on the 6th when they could have dropped them on the 7th and gone even more into Nurgle's holy numbers.
So,
But you didn't.
I think it has to do with when apps update on app stores is why we're seeing updates on Wednesday rather than on Saturday or whatever with the actual release.
So you want to explain that a little bit, or
So basically, like every week, the app stores push out their updates, and it's going to be on a set day. So I believe it's like Tuesday night. Everything has to be like ready to go, and then it updates Wednesday at like 12:01 a.m. Whenever it hits. So whenever it rolls over, where they keep their time at.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, still they missed it. They should have done it. But there's more than enough of Nurgle's favorite numbers. Nurgle's number is 7 and his sigil shows 3. From these numbers does his corruption flow. Again, they still should figure out a way to drop it on the 7th. Although I guess it was the 3rd day of the week is what they were saying too, so I don't know. Anyways, we're going to do a shallow dive. If you want to get a real good, we're going to basically like talk about this team until we get bored, but if you want a real deep dive into it, Just Another Kill Team podcast had John Reese on and another Nurgle guy, and they did a really good breakdown of it, and I've listened to it a couple times. So if you want to actually like smart kill team diagnosis of the team, that's where you find it. We are going to talk through some bullshit about it. So so the team is, if for those who don't know, it's actually from the kill team, or excuse me, it's from the blind boxes that they had for Space Marine Heroes 2 or something. It includes the one Japanese one that you couldn't get unless you
all
bought the
Japanese.
Well, they had it in the US though, but the Malignant Plaguecaster you couldn't get in the US.
I have the Plaguecaster. If you bought the box, you got all of them.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% positive. Like the guy with the fucking flies coming off of his staff. Yeah.
I thought the only way, well, when it originally came out though, I thought the only way to get that was by
you just bought the box. It was originally Japan only, but like now, like unless I'm like haven't do I need to relook at the
I think you need to relook at it because it was, I'm pretty sure that the only way to get the Malignant Plaguecaster previously was to actually buy the Japanese paint set.
I do know someone in not KTC Discord, but another one was talking about like they were very difficult to find the Playcaster. I don't know if it was because it was Japan exclusive or it wasn't guaranteed boxes, like the Strike Force was.
Tyler's just screaming about it. No, because as far as I understood, you had to buy the Japanese Death Guard paint kit. Um, and it was, I mean, they're going for like $300 on eBay before this new one dropped. My buddy actually had it. I don't even remember where he got it. I think he bought the Death Guard paint set actually, and that was how he got the Marine or the Malignant Plague Caster and gave it to me. So I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe Tyler's right. He's not right. I'm right.
No, I'm definitely right because I just went into my office and I have the Malignant Plaguecaster in my hand
And you got it out of.
out of the set. Just
So you got
bought,
the guy with the flies over his head.
yeah, Pustius the Vile.
Is it who is it?
Pustius the Vile is his name.
Mm, Pustius the Bile?
The Vile, yeah. Or is it different? Is it a different model?
No, that's the. Let me see.
Yeah.
Pustius the Vile. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it originally came out.
It originally, so like the whole Plague Marine set was Japanese only originally.
I swear though, when it came to the U.S., the only way to get it was
No,
that
it was
the
all
other
of
ones
them.
didn't come out.
It was all 7 of them plus one extra.
I don't know. We'll have to get to the bottom of this, but oh I still and you didn't get the like Japanese set or get the.
No, I just bought so like if you got the entire box set of the heroes, set 2 when they released in America, you got all 7 models that were available and then one extra of the basic dude.
But I thought they re-released them in the U.S. because I thought they originally like.
They originally were Japanese only, but then they came out in America.
All right. Well, okay. So the Space Marine Heroes box is now essentially the kill team. So you have 7 operatives. You choose 6 of them. You have the Plague Marine Champion, which has got a Plague Sword and a Plasma Pistol. You've got the Bombardier, which has the grenades, the Blight grenades, I believe, with the Toxic rule. You have, and he's got a bolt gun on him too, so he's one of your few like actual long range ones. You've got the icon bearer, which has he's a normal icon guy, but he also has some extra nurgle tricks. You got a fighter who just has a flail and he can do like a spinning death attack. Plague Spewer, which is a heavy gunner, which doesn't have the heavy rule, which is really nice actually. So you don't have to worry; you can still move and shoot. The Malignant Plague Caster that you can only get in Japan in the Japanese box set. I'm still going with that, and then a warrior. And this is kind of a weird kill team because you can't warrior spam. This is one of the few kill teams where you can, like normally with kill teams, you can take like 4 warriors if you wanted to, but this one you can still only take 1 of each, which is good because the the warrior itself is pretty spicy. So as far as archetypes, they can take security and seek and destroy, which are both pretty good ones, especially for elite teams. They've got some of the standard faction rules. So they're Astartes, which basically means that they can counteract from conceal. They can do 2 shoot or 2 fight actions. If it's a 2 shoot actions, it's got to be a bolt weapon, or they can do the psychic action too. They also have a thing called poison, where some of their weapons will actually allow you to add a poison token to someone, and it makes some weapons hit harder. It makes whenever that going forward they activate, they take 1 damage too. And then they have a disgustingly resilient, which is on a 4 plus. If they take damage 3 or more on a 4 plus, if they roll d6, they subtract 1 from the inflicted damage. Now, have you guys had a chance to play against them or play with them or dig into the team much?
Not really. Like I've done a pretty cursory look with them. I'm pretty excited about them. I think that people are kind of underestimating the team a little bit. They seem like pretty like durable. 50% chance to reduce damage down to 2 base on an Astartes chassis is really really powerful. And then they've got plenty of other rules to just kind of stack on plenty of wounds and just like chip damage and outlast you. I think that they're going to be quite the nuisance.
Well, I think that I know that the around the Kill Team Cascadia Discord, the sentiment was from some people was that they were kind of underpowered and kind of lame, and poison was kind of dumb. But I played them the other day. I played as them into Wormblade, and when you get someone poisoned, and especially with some of their equipment, and you're standing right next to a 7 wound model, that 7 wound model is just basically like gonna die and do nothing. So Connor, have you had a chance to play as them or against them?
I have not, no, but I definitely think they're exciting. I think the Disgusting Resilient is pretty damn good because the only thing that's not going to be going off is like an auto or las gun basic attack, which fine, that's 2 damage on a 14 wound body with a 3 up save, that's fine. Otherwise, like 50% of damage gets reduced is by one is a really powerful tool. And then, as lame as a name as Poison is, rather than something like Nurgle's Gift or Plague or whatever, it could have had a more thematic name. It seems really neat. The ability to just hey, a model activates and insta dies. Like 2 basic attacks go through on a 7 wound model or something, or like a hit and a crit on an elf. That's pretty powerful. That's pretty neat.
Well, here's my hot take on the poison and the name of poison. Like, uh, it's fine. The name's fine. I don't know. I've never. There's been a lot of like really cool named ploys and faction rules and stuff that do crap. So it's called poison. You poison someone. It's fine.
Yeah, it seems to work well. The name, I don't really care about the name. I care about the mechanic. Like we all know we can call it blight if we want to, or whatever you want to. It's effectively a poison. It works like a poison does in video games or other RPGs or stuff like that. Just let it go, y'all.
Yeah, that and the team name Plague Marines is fine. That's they're Plague Marines. So for their strategic ploys, you've got Contagion, which is essentially you can subtract 2 from the move stat and worsen the hit stat of weapons of an enemy by 1. It's not cumulative of being injured. It's got a couple of things you need to trigger it. If you're in control range, it does that, or if they have a poison token and they're within 3, or they're within 3 inches of the icon bearer. So you're automatically slowing people down. You're automatically going to also make them hit worse against you too, which is going to make they're 14 wound chassis, but they're going to play like 17 or 18 with the Disgustingly Resilient. You can also make sure that Disgustingly Resilient goes through every time with a firefight ploy. Um, they've got Lumbering Death, which is another strat ploy where if they are shooting or fighting in an activation where they haven't moved more than 3, they get ceaseless, or even if it's retaliating too. So that's good. They get some. That's kind of. I think that's one of their only sources of rerolls too. They don't have a lot of rerolls. They got the one of the best smokes in the game with their Cloud of Flies. So another strat play. And this is nice because you can actually place this in the gambit phase. So you can put a 3 inch, little actually almost a 6+ inch bubble down that your Plague Marines are going to be obscured if they're inside it. But this is one where when you're
Really
shooting
good.
out, you're not obscured.
I mean,
So
like Nurgle protects. So I think it's like really good. It's really flavorful. It's gonna make the team like really difficult to chip off. Like reducing all crits down to normals and dropping 1 dice. That's gnarly. It's just gonna make them hard to kill, and their equipment is incredible too. Like we got to touch on that. Like I think every time you're gonna be taking all 4 of their faction equipment.
let's jump over to the equipment real quick since Tyler touched on it. One last strategic play. You got Nurglings. Select one enemy operative within 3 inch of a friendly Plague Marine, or if that operative has poison token within 7 inch, and you subtract 1 APL. So you can stun whoever you want to, essentially. It costs a CP, so it's kind of expensive, but still going to be pretty good for when you just want to make sure that either a two APL model can't get out of combat with you, or you want to make sure that your opponent and their elite models are not doing anything. So as far as the faction equipment, we've got Plague Bells. So Plague Bells ignore any changes to stats of friendly Plague Marine operatives from being injured. So which is really nice because you don't want to be an injured Plague Marine and moving 3 inches. So I think you take Plague Bells every time. You've got Plague Rounds, So any bolt guns or bolt pistols have the poison and severe weapon rules. So you're going to be guaranteeing some crits and also making sure to toss out some more of those poison tokens. Blight grenades, which are a grenade for attacks hitting on fours, 2/4 damage, range 6, blast 2, saturate severe and poison. So with a team that doesn't have a lot of ranged threats, these are going to be nice to be able to like put this on your flail, dude, and toss it into a group of people, and you're gonna be passing out the poison tokens a lot more effectively with these. And then you got poison vents. This is a really good one. This is the one that stacks with your poison really well. So whenever an enemy operative that has one of your poison tokens is activated within 3 inches of a friendly plague marine operative, inflict D3 damage instead of 1. So that's what I did the other day against when I played the Wormblade. I threw a blade grenade in, went and stood up next to them, and they tried to activate, and then they basically died. So I think all the plague rounds, I don't think you'll take as much just because you've only got 2 bolt weapons, really.
I mean, but that's still like, a third of your team. Like that's a lot of firepower you're adding on there. What else are you going to take? Ladders? You know,
I mean, crack
probably,
grenades.
maybe.
I mean, you could have all the grenades.
Nah, portable barricade. You're already 5 inches slow. Just get even tankier at the cost of some
Ooh,
movement that you don't need.
ooh, I like that.
Portable barricade. I've been having a ton of fun with that more than like any other piece of equipment. It's just so goofy, but I love it. And a 2-up
Honest,
marine is gonna be really difficult to kill.
that sounds honestly disgusting with it.
Disgustingly resilient.
Yeah, or novitiates with a portable barricade. That sounds fun.
So Connor, what have you been doing with the portable barricade? How you been utilizing it?
So if you have an operative that has a silent weapon like perma silent, you should be taking that all the time. I've been bringing it on the infiltrator, like just a normal infiltrator who has it's a pretty crap gun, all things considered. It's 2/2 damage, 5 attacks, which isn't terrible, but hitting on 3s with silent. So an infiltrator with a suppressed pistol is pretty fun because you can just lock down a room on into the dark, and as long as it's someone that has a decent melee threat, it's going to be a tough person to shift off. Otherwise, I think it's a surprisingly effective piece at like turning anyone with a 3-up save to a 2-up save. Like you're not killing them other than in melee, and a lot of times people that have really powerful normal saves that can go up to 2-up are like people with shields. So even in melee, they have defensive tools and stuff. But
So basically, what you're saying is you're not over Hunter Clade yet. You're still committed.
no, I'm over 100 Clade, but that was my last hurrah of fun with him. Was like, haha, infiltrator with the power portable barricade. He's like a riot shield cop. But until they get some serious love, I'm afraid my love for them is fading.
So, but you keep coming back to him.
I mean, I haven't played him in like 2 weeks now.
What have you played in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I've been playing Hand of the Archon a little bit.
Who's Hand of the Archon?
I've been playing my buddy Matt's.
All right. Did you bring Matt's Hand of the Archon down in December?
If I don't have mine completed, I may.
That's bad luck, Chuck. You don't
Yeah.
want to wish that on him. You can't be playing other people's models at a tournament.
I already offered him my Phobos, so
Maybe I'll play Chuck's Phobos and then lose with them too, and just keep putting bad juju on Chuck's models.
I mean, you're getting all the bad rolls out.
You
I
should
play my teams.
just invest in an airbrush and like get your hobby done.
I don't know. Airbrush is not airbrush is not what's keeping me from getting my hobby done.
Yeah, same here, really. Although I'm very happy that I've painted 2 Vulgus basically.
Yeah, no, I've rattle can primed 3 Vulcus and painted some details on one of them, so I got a long ways to go.
Mine's is all like style over substance. Like if you really look at it, it's not that painted. I got some tricks to make it look more detailed.
Yeah, see, and I'm just going through and like I just find more details I don't want to pick out, and so I'm gonna do probably what I did with Into the Dark, where I'm gonna have one Into the Dark set where like most of the details are picked out, and I still need to go back and do my OSL on the lights. Then the rest of my Vulcus are gonna be like primed and a couple colors.
Well,
Battle ready.
All of your guys' Volcus, like both of the ones I've seen, and like you said, a lot of photos of them, they've looked really good. I like your colors, Truck. And Tyler, the texture you're doing with them is always really cool, especially since it matches that train you posted earlier today.
Yeah, like texture is the most fun part. I think um it's really easy with especially with like the kind of reductive method I use to get like interesting textures and like really kind of like worn and weathered and like lived in environments that look appropriately bombed out, you know?
Well, let's get back to worn and weathered and bombed out kill teams. So, Plague Marines. Firefight ploys. We have virulent poison. So use this firefight ploy during a friendly Plague Marine operative's activation or counteraction. Before it performs an action, select one of the following. One enemy within 3 inches of that operative gets a poison token, or you can roll 2d6 on a 7 plus. There's 3 and 7 again. If this result is a 7 or better, an enemy operative within 7 gains a poison token. So you can, for some CP, you can pass out poison tokens. You've got Poisonous Demise, which basically, if they die, you can spend a CP to blow up. Everybody within 3 inches of them gets a poison token. If they have one already, they take 1 damage. You've got Sickening Resilience, so you can use this firefight ploy when attack dice inflicts. Basically, you can guarantee disgustingly resilient, so you don't have to worry about rolling the 4+. So you can always subtract 1 from the dice. And then Curse of Rot. So uses firefight ploy when a Plague Marine operative is fighting or shooting against an enemy operative within 3 inches of it, or within 7 if they have a poison token. After your opponent rolls their attack or defense dice, for each result of 3 they roll, inflict 1 damage on that enemy operative, and that result is treated as a fail and they cannot re-roll it. So Curse of
That's
Rot
gnarly.
seems,
Gnarly.
I would say spicy, but it's
I feel like I roll a lot of threes, so that's like one of those times where you want ceaseless and you're gonna be re-rolling your threes instead of something else on other teams.
yeah. But I mean, if they play that though, you can't re-roll them. They're just
Oh, ooh, you're right.
yeah, they
So
just have to be discarded and they take 1 damage each.
gross.
So imagine you've got, you're being shot by a Marine or somebody with a 3 up, like Hand of the Archon. You're not worried, or like Hunter Clade, but you're not really worried about them. And they roll a couple threes. You can spend a CP to make them discard those dice, and they take 1 damage each.
For what it's worth, rolling threes on Hunter Clade still isn't good. They save in fours, but it's still really cool that you can just say, "Nah, you're dead," no matter what. On like Marines, if they roll all their saves and they're all threes.
No, so this is when you're being shot. Fighting against or shooting against an enemy within 3. Oh yeah, saves. Wait, hold on.
Yeah, I think you misread it. Now I'm confused. I gotta pull it up.
After your opponent rolls their attacker. Oh, it rolls their attack or defense dice. Yeah, it's if you're being
Oh, okay. I thought it was only
yeah.
after your opponent was like rolling save dice. I didn't realize it was on their attacks too. That's really cool then.
Yeah, so if you're fighting against or shooting someone within 3 inches or 7 inches if they're poisoned. So if you're fighting, you could make them discard their threes and
Yeah,
put
yeah.
damage into them too.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, that's real. Honestly, gnarly. Depending on like order of operations of stuff, like that could get gross, real gross.
Well, they are Nurgle's boys.
Yeah, no, gross is what they do. And 3 and 7 is what they do, apparently too. So let's take a look at their operatives a little bit. So Plague Marine Champion, 15 wounds, 3+ save, 5-inch move. Everybody on the team's got a 5-inch move, 3+ save, and 14 wounds on most of the people, but 15 wounds on the leader. So Plasma Pistol and Plague Sword. Plague Sword is 5 attacks on threes, 4/5, severe, poison, and toxic. So the toxic rule is whenever you're fighting someone who has a poison token already, you add +1 damage to both damage stats of the weapon. So if you're fighting someone who has got a poison token already, your poison sword becomes a 5 attacks, hitting on threes, 5/6 damage. So it becomes a power sword, basically, or better than a power sword, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
slightly better.
He's also got Grandfather's Blessing. So whenever an enemy operative that has one of your poison tokens loses a wound within 7 inches, he regains one lost wound to a maximum of 3 per turning points. And if he's not incapacitated. So uh, he's healing himself for 3 every turn too, if you got poison tokens passed out.
It sounds like it's pretty easy to get lots of poison tokens out there too. So, yeah, he's going to be healing for 3 on average, 2 minimum probably. Like this team just seems like durable. Like they're going to be hard to take off of a point. A cagey player that doesn't let you get a lot of shots and just kind of stalls you out is going to be really difficult with this team, especially if they're focusing on their secondaries, stuff like that, their tac ops.
Yeah, I think when I played them the other day, they felt very very tanky, and there was a couple times where I was able to heal, and yeah, the poison tokens they I got poison tokens out pretty easily. So, speaking of someone who gives out poison tokens, Malignant Plague Caster, only available in the Japanese paint set. Entropy, so he's got psychic attacks. Everything he does is psychic. So he's got Entropy, which is 4 attacks, hitting on threes, 3/7 damage, Psychic range 7, Saturate Severe, and it will give you poison. So you can one shot. It's got Severe, so unless you miss everything, you can one shot pretty much any guard body because you're going to be guaranteeing a crit if you're within 7 inches. And then you've got Plague Wind, which is 6 attacks, hitting on threes, 2/3 damage, Psychic Saturate, Severe, Torrent 1 inch, and Poison. So this is a full range thing. So he could be dishing out poison tokens across the board with this one. And he's got 6 attacks hitting on threes and still guaranteeing a crit basically too with Severe. Corrupted Staff, 4 attacks on threes, 3/4 damage, Psychic, Severe, Shock, Stun, Poison. So it's gonna be he's got some really good attacking psychic stuff. He's got 2 other things he can do. He can basically give someone else within 7 inches of him with his poisonous miasma. He can give them a poison token, or if they already have one, do 3 damage. And he's got putrescent vitality, which is basically he can heal someone. So somebody friendly operative within 3 and visible, you roll 2d6. If it's a 7, they regain 7 wounds. Otherwise, you select the highest d6 and you can heal them too. So it's going to be passing out poison, passing out heals, and making this team even more tanky and harder to go into.
Yeah, I like the ability he has. Like, I think they did a really good job thematically, just being like, hey, sevens are a really lucky number in a lot of games. Why not we bring it in the kill team where they've rarely been represented so far?
So besides that, then you have the Plague Marine Bombardier. So he does have a bolt gun. The bolt gun doesn't have the poison rule. So I guess that's where you'd take the equipment to get the add the poison to it. So it's 4 attacks on threes, 3/4 damage. He's got fists for a melee weapon, 4 attacks on threes, 3/4 damage. He's a grenadier, so he can use blight and crack grenades, and it doesn't count towards the equipment uses that you have. And you get improved hit stat, so he hits on threes with his grenades instead of fours. You can throw a blight grenade every round with this. And then he also has toxic, so his grenades are toxic, so it'll add poison tokens. Or excuse me, it'll if they have a poison token, it's +1 damage. So your blight grenade goes from being 2/4 damage to 3/5 damage. So it's like a 3/5 frag grenade basically. So pretty solid.
I mean, 3/5 is a really, really mean profile in this game, especially if you're doing damage every time they activate on top of that. Um, great, great ploys, great equipment, just a lot of synergy with this team. Like I said, I think people are underestimating this team overall.
They don't have a ton of flexibility just because they can only take you basically have 7 operatives and you got to take 6 of them. But yeah, I think I had fun when I played them the first time, and I happen to have these painted up mostly except the Japanese one, and but I'm working on that right now. So we also got a heavy gunner, Plague Marine heavy gunner, Plague Spewer, 5 attacks hitting on twos, 3/3 damage, range 7, saturate severe, torrent 2, and poison. Now he's a heavy gunner, but the weapon doesn't have heavy on it, so he can still move. He can and since it's not a bolt weapon or a psychic weapon, he can't shoot twice. So you could move, dash, and shoot. So you're giving yourself a what 15-inch threat range with this guy, even though he's kind of a chunky slow boy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, they used to have slow and purposeful as a rule in Big Hammer. I don't know if that's a thing anymore, but it would allow them to move and advance and shoot on there, or like move through terrain, like dangerous terrain, and still shoot, which is always really good for Death Guard in the past.
We've also got the Plague Marine Icon Bearer, he's got a bolt pistol with an 8-inch range on it. He's got a Plague Knife, which is 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3/4 severe poison. He's an Icon Bearer, so when determining control, treat his APL as +1. So he's basically 4 APL on a point. And then he also has Icon of Contagion. So whenever he's in the kill zone, the Contagion strat ploy costs you 0 CP. So I know that the game that I played, I had that Contagion ploy up every round just because it was free. So that's the one again that slows down people within um, if they're poisoned or if they're within control range, and worsens the hit stat too. So I had that up all game long because I had this guy out.
Yeah, that's a very good ploy. We kind of touched on it earlier, but it's essentially what Vanguard have in Hunterclade. So I'm glad seeing it on some other guys because it's always a very fun thing. And this is ideally what I like to see the Legionary Icon Bearer get like changed to, something like this, where it's like the ploy you get is specific and it's free. And like for Legionaries, it's the ploy that's themed around whatever mark they are. Because right now, just the constantly gaining command points all the time is a little gross, to say the least.
Yeah, that's an issue. They get way too many command points.
Absolutely. They're just flush with them, It's insane.
And then finally, we have the Plague Marine Warrior, who is got a bolt gun, 4 attacks hitting on 3s, 3/4 toxic. So if he's shooting someone with a poison token, he add +1 damage, so it becomes a 4/5 bolt gun. He's got a Plague Knife, which is 4 attacks on 3s, 3/4 severe poison, and then he also has Repulsive Fortitude. So whenever an operative is shooting this operative, defense dice of 5+ or critical successes. Now that's kind of like the old uh, is it the old kind of like the old disgustingly resilient? Is it?
No, old disgusting resilient. I think was just like a 4-5 up. Feel no pain. This is similar to like the Hardy. I think chapter tactic from Intercession. I
Oh, that's
really
right.
like
Yeah.
this. I think this is one of the most slept on like chapter tactics for Angels of Death and Intercession Last Edition because it just meant half your saves are rolling at crits, and that's insanely good most of the time. And I think this might legitimately be the best warrior in the entire game because of that. And then the bolt gun being just like a 4-5 bolt gun is really solid.
So that's the team. I had fun with them. I had a really good time. It was kind of the perfect team for me because I don't think it has a crazy high mental load, and you can still get some good success out of them. So because I'm not that smart at this game, so but they felt like what I feel like Plague Marines should feel like. They just kind of like lumbered up the board and soaked up some damage, and then when I got within like 7 inches or melee range of you is when they just kind of like chewed through the Wormblade team that I played. Now you guys can there's 7 guys you can choose from. So who are you ever taking the warrior though? Because who would you drop to take the warrior?
Depending on the matchup, I think you'll sometimes drop the guy with the flail, whatever his name is. I'm blanking on it right now. I think this fighter,
Fighter.
yeah. Because if you're in a shooting matchup or something like that, it might just be better to bring the warrior. Or if you know they're a team with a lot of easy access to crits, the warrior might be really good into them, like something against Hand of the Archon or a team with a lot of lethal fives.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can drop the heavy gunner also as like a safe bet in some matchups that where they're going to be coming into you.
I mean, if you know they're going to be coming into you, though, wouldn't you want that heavy gunner there because you're just going to be able to spray them?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know if necessarily spacing on an elite team is going to allow the
Allow for them to.
payoff, especially with their saves. I think the bolt gun may pay off a little bit better, and the operative's a little bit more flexible and durable.
Also, as weird as it is, you might drop the icon bear. I don't know off the top of my head if there's any teams in the game that have very easy access to like ignore all modifiers, kind of like Custodes had in the last edition. But the icon bear, besides the APL like modifier, free contagion might, just depending on teams, be entirely useless. So in that case, you maybe drop the icon bear and just bring the warrior instead, and everyone else.
I guess maybe against a super shooty team, if you're gonna shoot them up, they're gonna be shooting at you, and you're gonna shoot them up and by the time you get there, they're gonna be pretty beat up anyways. The
Yeah.
contagion maybe isn't that important because you gotta get within control range or within 3 inches of them.
Are there any teams? Do Angels of they have a way of ignoring APL modifiers, but not like injury modifiers, right?
Angels of Death, I think
They
they don't they have
oh
their
they shall know no fear.
yeah, they shall know no fear does
All right, I
that, I
need to
believe.
read. Give me a second. I'm going to read, and they shall know no fear versus that. For being injured, does this one count as being injured? That's the question. Because if that's the case, then yeah, containment's kind of useless. Or well, no, because then you can force them to spend a command point. I don't know. There's some cool flexibility to the team despite being locked to 7 guys.
So it doesn't look like though contagion isn't doesn't make them injured. Contagion just changes the hit stat of their
Yes.
weapons.
Okay, yeah, because I know that was the problem with like the Vanguard last edition where it counted as an injury, which meant any ignore injury. I was like, damn it, now it's useless. But in this case, yeah, Contagion, I think for the most part, can't be ignored unless you have a like ignore all modifiers, like the one flammer guy on Inquisition.
So overall, like thoughts on the team. I'm excited. I like I said, anytime a new team comes out that I have pretty much all painted up, it makes me excited to play them. And but I really had fun with them, and I almost feel bad because elites are the big boogeymen right now, but I think they're a good addition. I don't think they're crazy overpowered like legionaries are, but I think they're pretty high up there. Where do you think you guys would place them in that kind of the meta, assuming that like
I think
agents
they're solid
agents
A.
yeah.
Yeah, like maybe high B at worst.
Yeah, they're a solid elite team. I think like kind of in the place of Angels of Death, like a very similar power level. Their biggest weakness is in like into Inquisition right now, where Inquisition can turn off some of their really valuable ploys, as well as just a ton of piercing. And ironically, this team doesn't have a way of ignoring that, so that's kind of like a weakness to them. But of course, Inquisition's like really solid across the board. But I think they're like Tyler said, kind of solid A, maybe low B if the movement penalty is really that rough.
Well, it's always nice to have new kill teams, and I think everybody was kind of surprised that they just, I mean, dropped them to begin with that starter box, and now we got rules of them, and so little tide us over till the Ogren, well, not the Ogren, till the Ratlings and
No,
the
Ogrins are there,
Orcs come out.
but
And the
yeah,
Ogrens, yeah, they haven't
true.
officially announced the Ogrens. I may have picked up two
No,
boxes of
they have.
Ogrens. Well, they didn't. They said they showed one of the ploys that
Yeah,
mentioned
so
it.
I mean
But
that's close enough. But yeah, I'm glad this team's out. It's really cool to finally bring those models back because I've always like, even though I'm not a Death Guard guy, they're cool models. It's a great starter set, and the fact I don't have to pay $400 on eBay to get them is a nice plus too.
I think I
now,
paid 60 for mine, including the Japanese guy in America.
Well, I
you,
didn't. They're on eBay only now, Tyler, and they're expensive on eBay.
there was people complaining about paying like $300 for them like days before they got announced
Yeah,
as a starter set.
that's funny and brutal at the same time. Hopefully, you were able to return it.
Now one of the controversial pieces about the makeup of this team is that you can't use the actual Plague Marines box. You can only so you don't get access to all the other special stuff. Do you do you feel like they're lacking because of that? I mean, I know it'd be nice to be able to add a plasma and some other fun stuff, but I mean, are we fine with just this team how it is? Or are we a little sad that we can't use the Plague Marines box?
I mean, definitely sad. Like I want more options, more reason to buy models. Come on, GW. like motivate me to buy more boxes.
I think, yeah, definitely sad because like when I first read it, I thought, oh shit, I'm just gonna bring all warriors, and then I was like, oh wait, you can only bring one because I really like the idea of this constant 5-up crit saves. But it's a bummer. I hope that maybe they'll get them added in like in another year or two, or who knows, Kill Team 27, they'll still be around. They can get them then. Just kind of how like Strike Force just staying needed an addition to be exciting. But overall, I think they've done a solid job. This is a far more interesting team of monopose models than Strikeforce Justinian was, and there's a lot of like fun flavor that they've put in, which is always enjoyable.
You can tell in that last little bit where Connor lost his like train of thought. If you know him, he is like Strike Force just and
Yeah, I don't
he
know.
like he doesn't
Just glitched
stutter.
out.
Also, like he just glitched out there.
That was
That was lovely.
me trying to suppress like a hiccup. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, like
Uh,
but like you don't have a stutter or anything
No.
like that, like no like Tourette's or anything. Like it was just like you totally heard him glitch out, and like that was a lovely moment. I love that about you. Like I can hear your thoughts, for lack of a better term.
I can hear him too, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, baby got back.
And penis carrots.
I hate you. There's our one for the episode. But yeah, that's true. I glitched there, I guess. I don't know. It was suppressing a like a cough or a hiccup or something. It was a weird moment.
No, no, it's like it's an interesting like thing. Like not I'm not like trying to like point it out to be mean or anything.
I
Just
am.
like like as you like get to know people, like and you listen to their patterns, that's just like a fun thing. You can hear like where you're like talking in the sentence, and then you like jump to another thought there. I relate. I know that feeling in my soul.
There's a lot of crazy thoughts in here.
Yeah. Well, I think that's enough crazy thoughts for this evening. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining me, and thank you everybody for listening. Like, subscribe, hit that bell or whatever they do on YouTube. Also, if you haven't had a chance, go back and listen to the last episode. We had some really fun interviews with community members, and we're going to try and do more of that. I'm going to try and see how many I can get at the December event, but that's coming up soon enough. What do we speaking of December event, you can go to, where is it? Just Cascadia Tabletop. It's not on Cascadia Tabletop. Is it
It's just in our Discord,
just
really.
in our Discord? Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll have the
you know,
link in the description for the BCP where you can get signed up on that.
absolutely. I
Tyler,
mean, like, are you in the Northwest and you're listening to this podcast and you're not in our Discord? What are you doing? Reach out to us, get in our Discord, like join in, sign up for our events, like take part. The best thing you can do in tabletop gaming is like go play games across a table from another person.
and Tyler saw that
The
the new
nerd
shirts are
shirts.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so stoked about it. There's a couple that had to go back for reprints. Just like the puff is pretty it's temperamental. And I'm like trying to push boundaries with what I do on my shirts. So there's a couple of them, and I'm going to be reaching out to people that they're going back for reprints, but the majority of them are all done and stuff like that, and they look incredible. Super bummed. My coat, like the coat I ordered for myself, just runs small. It's too small for my like shoulders even. I'm a big dude, but like it runs small, so I think I'm sending that out to Greg. But I'm really excited. Kill Team shirts just sent in that order. And like I think that's looking like beginning of next year is when those will finish up. They've been hit with a lot of really really big orders from some pretty big clients, so I'm in the back of the line on that.
Well, and Connor, you're at Spanaway on everything, and I'm at Painting Cave Minis. Haven't posted in a while, at Vox Cascadia on Instagram,
Yeah,
and
lowbrow minis for me, and then Dice Throw It Up Big Cartel. You can get any dead stock shirts I have. They're up on the site right now.
Go
yeah.
buy.
So do your thing, Connor.
Go buy Tyler shirts and buy your December ticket. I'll be there soon. Or not soon. I'll be there for the event probably.
Yeah,
But go buy. Do it now.
yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, it's your opportunity to play against Chuck or I also, because we will both be playing in the event too.
I can't wait to play both of you in a row. That's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, and I'm actually I'm 0-2 into you guys, so I need
I
need
mean,
some revenge.
that's assuming either of you like if we pair in the first round, like the other ones win in their first round too. So
I'm trying to figure out what should I bring to that. So I mean, Casterkin. Do I bring Casterkin just to like get some reps
What's your
and
snowiest or like most Santa Claus colored themed team?
I mean, Blood Angels are red. That's about as close as I get.
But do you have any Blood Angels you could use for kill team?
I have the full intercession roster for Kill Team. I actually I don't have a captain and I don't have a fully painted infiltrator.
Well, a brand new Blood Angels captain just came out, Chuck.
You know what I am actually using for my captain, because I think Terminators should be in Kill Team, and just to piss Tyler off, I actually bought the Terminator captain and put him on a 40 mil base, and he's got a combi plasma and a power fist.
Oh, that's pretty fair.
yeah, that's definitely like a choice you made.
Yeah, he's fucking sick.
I
mean,
mean,
he
he's
is
no
sick.
aggressor.
It-
God,
oh
Jesus
God, you had to.
You mentioned Terminators. It's like a 90% chance. I gotta do it.
I'll get you a picture of that guy too. I'm trying to find a good shoulder pad for him in my Blood Angels bits, so he can have a legit Blood Angels shoulder pad. But I don't think I have any Terminator size ones.
I know a couple guys that collect Blood Angels up here, and I think they got the box that came with the upgrade sprue. If that comes with a Terminator shield or whatever, I can probably snag one for you.
Yeah, see if you can find one for me. Yeah, see if you can get a shoulder pad. I just did the Crux Terminatus on the one side, but
Yeah.
then the other side he's kind of naked. But yeah, I'm going with the Terminator captain as my Strike Force Justin captain.
Well, it's no aggressor captain, but I'm sure it's going to look great when you finish painting it.
It's not an aggressor captain, thank fucking Christ.
There's actually not even an aggressor captain.
Yeah, you know why?
Because they actually I get what's Calgar? No, he's a chapter master, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind.
Is he a chapter master?
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. He's been a chapter master longer than Connor's been alive.
Yeah, but I mean, Connor's been alive for like 12 years.
Fuck him, yo.